Hello, I'm Deborah Dunford, and I'm here to give some time management tips and strategies, and to tell how I apply them in my life. Time management in our textbook was defined as organizing and sequencing tasks that are accomplished in an efficient manner. And I think that process requires some time and planning. In the words of Ben Franklin, he's one of my favorite people to quote because he has a lot of great quotes. If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, and I think that's true. I believe that a lot. Personal time management is important because the trick is to make a habit of planning tasks in a reasonable manner in relevance to importance to get the most done efficiently with the least amount of effort, and that's efficiency. There are only so many hours in a day, and to be really successful in getting most done in the least amount of time, it takes practice of actually getting in the habit of doing those things. So I'll take you through some of the time management tips that work for me. I'm married and I have children, and I work full time. I go to school full time, and I have a lot of homework, and so does my son each night. So I start my day at 5 a.m. I get up, I get ready for work, start coffee, get everyone up and moving. I check backpacks. I go over early morning emails for work and for my son's teacher's emails. I check everybody else's to-do list. What's on your agenda today? Do you need to go early for tutoring? What's happening? Get everybody on their journey. And then I check to make sure my to-do list is complete. So I leave the house early by 7 because I want to allot plenty of time to get to work. So I can get to work on time and get there early, so I'm not rushed and stressed when I do get to work, which kind of throws me off my schedule if I'm not there early. So I set up early in my office, and I check emails and go over my work to-do list and allow that time. That's kind of time that I have allotted that my coworkers kind of know that I'm there early, and if they have something they want to talk to me about, sometimes I'll tell them, "Oh, talk to me in the morning, right before work," and that's a good time to actually schedule distractions. You're going to have distractions throughout the day, but if the more you schedule them and don't let them kind of take over your day, the more time management that you're going to have, and the more that you're going to get done. So I pack my own lunch to save that time and to avoid the temptation of going out to lunch, because that can be a big time drain. And I've learned to multitask. When I do take breaks, I'm always completing another task at the same time. I put my phone up because that can be a real temptation and waste of time and distraction. I rotate standing and sitting during the day. I try to schedule all my running around work early in the morning when I know that I'm at my highest energy level. And then I schedule my meetings and things where I know that I'm going to have a little bit of sit down time kind of after lunch, because that's kind of when I get a little more tired after I eat. So, and then I know at the end of the day that I'm going to have to go back with that busy run schedule. So when I get off work, I pick up my children and I go over their to-do list in the car on the way home, and I delegate chores to them, and we have a plan for homework and setting out work. So then I set out clothes for the next day, and I get them to set out their school clothes for the next day. And a lot of times for dinner, I already have pre-prepared meals because I like to meal prep on Sundays and have the meals for the week already made up, so I can just pull something out and pop it in the oven, and we can do homework at the same time that's warming up. So I don't waste time with a lot of cooking or going out to eat, which is also a big time drain. So at home, one of the things that I try to do is I postpone watching television, and I focus on trying to get to work ahead on my studies. And although I love to go out to movies and go out to eat, I've learned to balance my time and really limit these activities and where I choose to put my full focus. Because going back to school has been a big commitment, especially full time, with all of the other things that I have going on. And it's a delicate balance to get everything in family life and home life, to find a good balance for that with all the responsibilities that I have at home and work and school. So let's talk about at work. One of the things I've worked hard to develop ways to get the most work done and to avoid distractions. I avoid areas where I know company gossipers might be hanging out and project negativity, and that's a huge waste of time. It's a distraction and it's a waste of time. It takes you away from your true goals, and you have to learn to set boundaries with people, because there will be people that want to steal your time and drain your positive energy, and not everybody supports your ambitions. So I avoid that energy zapper. And I focus my energy with like-minded people, with positive, encouraging people. I set timers to remind me to get to my appointments and to start the next task. I set my watch timer that gives me enough time to, when that timer goes off, I can wrap up whatever I'm doing and know that I need to head to my next destination. So I'm always learning, though, and working towards gaining knowledge and skills that can add to my skill set and save me some time. I use Google Calendar at work. I like to see my daily, what I need to do daily. I like to look at the week at a glance, and I like to look at the month at a glance. I actually have a calendar for the whole year, so I plan out things, and then when I know things are coming up and when I know have deadlines, I try to balance that. So, and then I have a calendar at home too. I have a calendar for my kids' activities, home activities, family activities, school activities, and work activities. So I have a big one at home that kind of covers everything. But so another thing that I do, I collaborate with my coworkers on assignments to save time. Say we're in a big group and I know that one person, their strength is doing a particular job. I try to either learn from them so I can get faster at doing that particular thing myself, or delegate. That's an important word. Sometimes you have to delegate. And it will actually give you more time. That's why I mentioned it. Delegating has saved me a lot of time. I used to think that I had to do all my chores. Things had to be done in the house a certain way, and I've realized that giving them chores gives them responsibility, and it helps me, and we're happier because of it. So let's see, back to work. I utilize email as much as possible and technology, because sometimes when you just make a phone call or go do a conversation about something, and sometimes it's necessary, especially with a customer. They want that personal service. But if it's a coworker and it's something that can be handled in an email without wasting time on a meeting or a long chit chat that gets you distracted in a whole different area, it's better to take care of that with technology whenever you can. I always have a to-do list for work and for home as well. I saw that in the textbook. There were a lot of great ideas in the textbook. A lot of them I'm already doing or I'm trying to do. I try to follow as much as possible. And technology, I do use that. I do try to do my work right the first time. And I haven't always, but I learned that hurrying to get things done, sometimes that's a waste of time, because what happens is you've missed a step or you've missed a detail, and then you have to redo it, and then that takes time. If you do it right the first time, it saves time correcting mistakes later. I do prioritize my to-do list, and they mention this in the book as well. I prioritize. I always have, and I color code. I color code my notes. So my most urgent things that have to get done today are, say, pink, and then things that can wait till tomorrow are blue, and etc. And then long-term tasks, I have those in yellow. But it just kind of helps me get focused, and I practice time management and try to prioritize them. And I'm always revising that list to stay on point, because as soon as I've taken As soon as I've completed one of the tasks on my list, I like to check mark it, and you'll find that's really satisfying once you can kind of take charge of your time and see how, just practice little bitty things that can really save you time. And when you have time at the end of the day, it's very satisfying. But I organize my work area, and that saves time too. I try to keep it clean and clear of personal clutter or papers that I don't really need, because everybody does this. You tend to get real attached to stuff and you think you need it, and then I look at it and go, do I really need this piece of paper? Why do I need this piece of paper? It's on the computer or it's somewhere else. Why do I need it? And then I try to get rid of all that clutter. That way, when there's something that I need to access, I can get to it easily and quickly, and not waste a lot of time looking for stuff. Let's see. I like to keep a daily time chart. I actually keep a chart per hour. I kind of sometimes jot down things that I did during that hour, so I can kind of track my time to see where all my time is going to. Because sometimes the end of the day is there and I'm like, what happened to the day? And I like to look back and go, oh, that took time. That took too much time to do that, and think of ways that I can not spend as much time next time doing that. I try to avoid procrastination. Let's be honest, we all procrastinate in some form. I try to examine, why am I procrastinating from doing something, and has it become a habit? So I admit to myself that I'm putting off a task, and I try to make a list of what I need to get the job done. Am I putting it off because I need someone's help to do it? Is it just something I don't enjoy doing? Do I not have everything that I need? And I try to gather my supplies, so I have everything, and that's a big time management, time saver. So anyway, there's always going to be distractions and interruptions, and change is inevitable. However, if you plan to cover the bulk of the task and prioritize getting them done and be flexible with it, it'll help you to overcome when you do get delays. So keep a goal attitude and plan accordingly. And don't get frustrated. Motivate yourself by reminding yourself of the satisfaction that you feel after having completed the tasks that you have completed. And you can have completed the best time management practices that you can. And then don't get so set in your ways that you can't allow for those distractions that do come about. So anyway, those are my ideas. Those are my thoughts. I hope that it helped, and thank you so much for listening.